everybody. This is Trish Palmer from Australian Hypnosis Conference, and I am here with Amanda, and she is presenting this year. I cannot wait to hear all about your speech. You are working with some of the most wonderful creatures on this planet, which are children. Honestly,
Creatures.
they
They
are.
definitely are wonderful.
They are. They are full of honesty and imagination and just the most purest of souls. So how did you get into working with children, Dar?
Well, to be quite honest with you, originally I'm in childcare.
Wow,
So
yeah.
I own 4 early learning centres. And so I've got the creatures from when they're really tiny little creatures,
The little
and
bitties.
they're just wonderful. And I've been with the little creatures since 1999.
Oh,
So now there's teenagers, there's kids that have now turned into adults, and I've
yeah.
just maintained the connection with the families in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And with my counselling skills, I'm a teacher as well, and with what I do here, it just so happens that I've become very comfortable working with kids and teenagers.
Yeah,
And I've
good.
noticed that a lot of other therapists might think, oh, I'll keep away from kids. I understand that too,
Yeah,
but
they do.
I'm just quite gelled with the kids. I have a great time.
And I honestly think that that's where we need to start, is when they're young, when they're going through that imagination creation stage sort of thing, they're looking up to their parents as to what's good, what's wrong, what's stigmatized, etc., etc. And that's where it all begins. Do you work with the parents as well?
I work with the parents in the clinic here if
Oh,
necessary. Most of the time, I actually work just with kids. Parents
yeah.
are outside,
Yep.
but we work with parents, obviously for good reason and good cause. But quite often, parents aren't really interested in being in the therapy room with the kids.
Okay,
And
yeah.
it works better that way as well. That way, the kids feel much more comfortable
They can
and
be
they can be
themselves.
themselves. Yeah. And we
Yeah,
learn
yeah.
strategies, techniques, and it's just wonderful.
Yep. And you're presenting all about COPE, so C-O-P-E. Tell us a bit more about that.
Okay, so I came to realize that kids were coming in, of course, and bottom line is they want some coping skills.
Yeah.
And whilst you read, you research, you do all your courses, and you learn as much as you can so that you can offer coping skills, not generic ones, but individualized for each child, each age, each stage, each situation.
Mhm.
But my greatest learnings actually came from the kids themselves.
Yeah.
They became my teachers. So they taught me what was working, what was not working. And
Yeah.
therefore, that's why I wrote my book. It's like
Ah.
coping skills for kids. And that's why I did the online course. And all it is a COPE formula that
Yeah.
I thought it's great to share with everybody else, should they be interested and think they could adopt that and use that with kids, because it's so friendly, easy to learn, and it works. You adapt it for each child, each age, and each stage.
Mm-hmm. And I think honestly that's where a lot of therapists kind of get stuck, is working with children like there's some kind of weird thing and they're going to do this. Like, honestly, it's the adults that you probably have to worry more about than the children, because children are really honest. Like,
And you know what? It's learning to work with kids, allowing them to be the ones with the skills, because they teach us. And I've come to realize that kids teach us how to work with adults.
yes, yes, very true. Yes, yes, yes.
We were kids once, and sometimes when I'm working with adults and I think, okay, so what do we do here? My head goes to, what do the little ones do? Because they're mindful,
Mm,
they're
they are.
creative, they're
They are.
resilient.
And they've still got the imagination attached as well. They're not
They've got the
distracted by,
imagination. Yeah,
yeah,
they're creative. They're willing to give it a go. And so
yeah.
kids give great results, especially with hypnosis.
Oh, and that must lift you up as well to keep going and stay motivated.
I love it. I love it because I'm also creative, because I come from childcare. So in my therapy space, it's more than just a cozy environment, which with the kids, we don't call it therapy room, we call it the cozy room.
That
And
sounds better.
we'll have resources, we'll have different lights, we'll create an atmosphere and environment so they can build skills, create change, be curious, and walk out of here saying, okay, now I'm going to use these skills to cope with this situation. And I found a number of topics, just a handful of topics that I thought, this is what kids usually come in here for. So just tell you them, they're just like a handful of them. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so the main thing is slowing down their busy mind.
Yeah.
Because they tend to say, well, when I'm about to go to sleep, my mind's like really busy and I don't know how to slow that down.
Oh, yes.
One of the other things is, especially this is age appropriate, it's when kids are in a competition or a carnival and letting them know it's okay to win and it's okay not to win, because I'm kind of noticing kids these days are not feeling comfortable about not coming top 3 or not coming first, and that's quite a concern. Dealing with unkind thoughts and words, because it's happening at school and it's happened forever, but I like to think it's affecting our kids differently these days.
Oh, I love the idea that we're evolving into a better place these days. Like, I remember when I was a kid, like, I very rarely missed any school until my parents split up, because my dad was always one of these people, no, you're not sick, get to school. And my parents were very disciplinary, so we got the cat o' nine tails, it was called back then, the strap, and it puts you into that fear state all the time. And I remember one day going to a luncheon with Sharon, and Sharon had said, did you want another biscuit? And I was like, no, because you're only allowed to take one in our family, and because you always saved it for later. And she said, well, would you like another biscuit? I was like, no. And Sharon said to my mother, your children are such good kids. And I remember thinking as a child, I'm not a good child, I just don't want to get a whack when I get home. Like, that was one of my thought patterns. And going into adulthood, I can only imagine how much better it is these days that we have this kind of support, so that we can have better people going into our workplaces, into our support systems. Like, I think it's magical. I really do. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. Our kids are our future.
Yeah.
And knowing that they can get the support from now to shape, change, modify, alter their belief system, to know that I might feel something right now, but what I'm thinking about it doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah.
It can be changed just with a little bit of support, guidance.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If we do that right in the beginning, like, I work with so many adults, I do Heal the Inner Child, and I work with so many adults that have gotten into that teacher mode where if they get something wrong, or if they don't achieve something, or if they don't win, that means they're failing. And I actually run a workshop here in Ballarat, and our number one rule, I'm going to swear, okay, but our number one rule is fuck this up. So every time I get newbies in the class, I'm like, hi guys, I'm Trish. I said, we have a number one rule of learning here. Number one rule is fuck this up, because if you don't, then we can't learn something. You already know it. Why are you here? So we break down that you have to get the answer right scenario.
Trish, I love that. I'll tell you why I love that. I have found an influx of, say, year 3 kids coming into the clinic because they don't want to F that up. And so I put on my thinking hat and I thought to myself, I must tell the girls that work for me in my early learning centres, make sure you do a lot of boo-boos. Let the children see that you've done some mistakes. Most importantly, make sure you show them how it's okay, and the self-talk that you might do out loud. Let the kids witness that, oh, I broke that, that's okay, I'll just use that. Just to show them that you can move out of that space and that it's okay as well. So it's great.
I love that wording for kids as well, doing a boo-boo, like, oh, boo-boo. Heal, let it go, move on. And, I know particularly in my age group, there are a lot of, particularly women as well, is that they're still stuck in that, oh, I've got to get this right the first time. I've got to be an overachiever. I've got to impress people when I go into the job for the first time. And I'm like, no, just relax, be you, and keep going.
And be comfortable. Be comfortable with that uncomfortable feeling. That's the bottom line. We come into therapy spaces as adults wanting to achieve that. And that's why it's important to show our children be uncomfortable, and that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, because it's only in your discomfort that you can create comfort for yourself in the future. And that must alleviate a lot of anxiety for children as well, then.
The permission to feel it alleviates the anxiety, and the permission to have some anxiety, to know that that's normal, healthy. It's just nerves.
They
don't have to be totally calm when they're doing a school speech. Be a little bit nervous, but give it a go.
Give it a crack, and if you don't like it, well, go do something else. Like, you never know. I love that. Honestly, I can't wait to hear your talk and see everything that comes out of it. Honestly, thank you so much for talking to me here today. So everybody, you can jump on Amanda's link down in the comments. She will be giving away her COPE formula and having a great old yarn about that. And bring your questions as well, because she's smart and she's willing to answer them. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody. See ya.